Welcome everybody to Villains and Creeps. It's our ongoing series of Welcome to Derry and welcomes, bunch of welcomes going on. Episode 4, and I would have liked to say the name of the episode is Return to Racism, but the episode is called The Great Swirling Apparatus of Our Planet's Function. And it starts at where it left off. Well, I guess it's kind of in the morning, and assumingly that they developed the film, they waited until sunrise, and as soon as sunrise came around, they went to the police office and they're talking to the police officer and they're revealing the photos and the policeman's going through them and is like, "What the fuck is this? A statue with bird poop on it?"
I
So,
love the sarcasm of the chief is funny. Chief
yeah.
Barrow's like, "Oh my God, it's bird shit." Like he was just being a jackass to those kids. He was being way more sarcastic than he should have been with kids that young. That was funny, dude.
Yeah, and the
Oh
kids were
man.
like, "Oh man, what?" And and he was flipping through them, and they're like, "Are you serious right now? Like, what are you kids doing out that late? Like, why were you out in the cemetery that late?" And that's kind of what we speculated at the last episode is that I bet that he's going to alter the photos that Pennywise,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what happened. And the only picture that was clear was Pennywise, and they were like, "Here, look, it's the clown," and he was like, "Doesn't look like what you think it does to me." So that's what you're left with at the post office. And so the kids know that it can essentially alter minds. Afterwards, they talk about how that's it altered the pictures and it could alter the minds of people themselves. So they question, well, who can we go to next that will actually believe us? So Lily suggests, or she just cuts to the next scene where she goes to the Juniper Hill maid, or is that what she was in Juniper Hill?
He's like the housekeeper slash
Housekeeping.
like head nurse.
Hmm.
I think she's a head nurse too. I can't remember. I think it's head nurse.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah, she goes to her and did you catch the like almost like the vibes of like she thinks that Ronnie and Lily are like in a relationship type of
yeah,
thing. Like yeah, that was a big
kind of what
thing.
we
Like
thought in that's
yeah,
what we thought
the other
too.
one. And it went back to it like she was saying, well, as long as you have people by your side, and then she was talking about like your friends and stuff.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder like what she actually does know. Like she's got to remember stuff that's happened. Like, but yeah, Lily went to her essentially to see if like, hey, you've been here a while. She won't talk to her mom because her mom will
We'll
just
think
throw her
she's
back in
crazy.
yeah, throw her back into Juniper Hill, which is probably gonna happen after anyway, but it sucks. But yeah, she was like even saying like, well, she's been around forever. Let me ask her, and then she can't even remember. So that goes back to what we were saying, how Pennywise ends up altering people's minds, like memories, and just
Erasing them.
how yeah, erasing them or manipulating them, for instance, which is probably gonna happen in this series. I'm already predicting what's going to happen in this series, like I'll just shoot it out there as a prediction, is it's going to use the town against them to try to get rid of the psychic, essentially, you know, because it's going to see him as a threat. Him and Major Hanlon. So it's going to try to get rid of Hanlon because Hanlon's the Major, the black guy who doesn't feel fear.
Yeah.
And then Halloran is the psychic.
Mhm.
I think Pennywise is going to deem them as a big threat. And it's kind of crazy in this one because, like in the other iterations of it, mind you, when the kids were adults, they were able to see Pennywise, but like none of the other adults saw anything. None of the other adults from the town or any other townsfolk saw the hallucinations that they were having. Like in the fortune cookie scene in the '91, the one in the '90s was my favorite actually.
Yeah. It
As
still
opposed,
can't
like
be
the
beat.
the 2000 was good too, but oh
Yeah.
man,
The
the
first
'90s was
episode.
awesome because it was practical
Yeah.
effects and it was just the little
Yeah.
cookies moving and breaking. But anyway, nobody else saw that happening. Or like when the balloons pop and like blood just splatters all over everybody, like in the library and stuff, or
Yeah.
even
Everyone's
like
oblivious to it.
yeah, people are just oblivious and like you see like Richie like, oh my God, what the fuck? You guys not see this? It's like, how are
Hmm.
you missing this? It's like you're just covered in blood. This is BS.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of interesting. But like in this one, you're seeing the adults actually see like what's going on.
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
think
the
that's
only
kind of
one that
fascinating.
has is Halloran and
Ellen
when.
sees the balloons
Yeah.
and like he's actually believing his son and stuff. Mind you, they're not. And what's interesting is they're not from Derry,
Hmm.
so it's one of those. I don't know if that's a thing or if
Well, it
that's
could be
why.
that they have the shine too. The housekeeper essentially tells her just to not give up. It goes to a scene where Rose just dropping off stuff that Charlotte bought at the store. That's Hanlon's wife, excuse me, and invites her in, asks her if she wants some coffee. She says, I'll always accept someone offering me coffee. They go in and talk a little bit, and Charlotte asks Rose, is there something I should be concerned about with Derry? And I thought it was more like a racism thing to me. Like that's what she was alluding to, because that's what the only thing her character is driven by is racism. And that's the only thing it can be and will be is racism. So anyway, she says to keep your loved ones close to you, and that's the only advice that she gives. And after that, it goes to, I guess you call it the barracks, like a new house for Halloran and the troops that he surrounds himself with.
Yeah, when Rose was talking to Charlotte, that was actually kind of interesting. And if you, I don't know if you picked up on it too, but I think Rose was trying to was actually trying to like get information from her, see what
Hmm.
she knows, like what's going on
Yeah,
with the military.
that's really the only reason she went over there
Yeah,
because she
it
knows
was just
that
she
Hanlon
knows
is
that.
his her
Yeah,
wife.
Hanlon's the wife, or Hanlon and her married. So I think she was trying to get information, but then Charlotte seeing like what the fuck's going on and everything with because she's picking up on like weird shit going on in the town, and I know like yeah, okay, racism and all this, but it's also a genuine worry
Hmm.
with cause and you kind of see it later on in the episode. It is a genuine worry that she has, like, oh man, are these kids in danger? It's like, what the hell's going on? Like, if there's a kitty killer, or like a dude killing kids, my son's in danger. All these other his friends are in danger,
Hmm.
and you kind of catch that later. And then like even like when she's trying to like talk to um Henry, in the jail, trying to figure out, hey, like what's going on, I know if you're innocent, that's one thing, but what the fuck's out here killing kids? I want to know too, and I also don't want to because once again, the racism thing, but you
Yeah.
kind of learn why it's pushing this way in a way. Like I watching this episode, you find out a lot more about Charlotte's background, like why they got in trouble in Louisiana and shit. Anyway, they went to the bunker to the new barracks essentially that Halloran and his buddies. They ended up giving them like this bunker, and it's like a decommissioned barracks essentially, and it was just storage, and they're cleaning it up, and it's kind of making me like, it makes me laugh because like all of them are on board except for one dude, and I'm pretty sure Halloran just like mind controls the dude. Hey, just clean the fucking mess up, asshole. This is a
Yeah.
spot for us now. Be happy. To
It
Will.
goes back to them at school. So it's Lily and Marge, and they're watching a movie about an atomic blast and how to stay safe from it. That's what it goes to. Marge is wanting to reconnect with Lily, and it doesn't show anything else. It just shows that they connect eyes, and then it switches over to Will and his mother finds the pictures that they took and questions him about it. So that's what steamrolls Charlotte into doing all this stuff is like what's going on, and Will kind of alludes to what's going on. He doesn't completely tell her what they experienced or anything. He just says that there's something weird going on, and she says, "Well, we'll just keep this to ourselves, and I'll try to figure it out." So that's what steamheads are on the mission to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, then they're sitting at dinner, and she is pretty adamant about, hey, yeah, this is just gonna be between us because it was kind of cool. It was like in a way, it was kind of neat. But when they're having dinner that night, she's even like talks to her husband and said, hey, why don't you take your son out? Or why don't you guys go out this weekend or something? Get
Hmm.
out, get him out of his space and get him out of his head. And they do. And then he ends up taking her fishing, which he loves and Will hates.
And before then, they talk about how he has a girlfriend or someone he likes, and
Yeah.
they're like, is he? They don't say it exactly, but they're trying to imply is she black? And they're like, and
Yeah, I
he's
did
like,
like that. It
yeah,
was kind
she's
of funny.
black.
Like, she
So
one of us.
yeah, and then that's when it goes to they go fishing, Hanlon, his father, Will's father, goes to the car to get something. What did he go get? I can't even remember.
Oh, it's bait. So they were having their
Okay.
moment, and Will lost the fish. Like he's reeling it in. He's having a good old time at that
Hmm.
point. Before, like he doesn't want to be out in the woods. He hates the woods, all this stuff.
Which is reasonable from all the shit they experienced.
Yeah, no shit. And then so he loses the fish, and he ends up losing the fly too. So his dad says, "Oh shit! Well, I left the spares in the car. Hold my pole. I'm gonna go get the spares." So he's going back to go get more bait, and Will's just kind of sitting there, and this big ass koi fish comes up to him, and it swims up to him, and it looks at him, and he looks at the koi fish, and it's like, "That's kind of crazy." And then all of a sudden, hands come up and grab him, pull him down, try to drown him, and it's actually his dad. That's when I was going to talk about when the kids got together. I forgot about that. I think they were discussing this beforehand, though, when the sheriff told him to get out of there, and with the pictures and all that, because that's when they were like trying to ask, like, what is this thing? Is it like a vampire? Is it like Dracula, where we can't get his picture?
Hmm.
Things like that. We can't see its reflection.
From then, after he Will experiences that, it goes to Charlotte and she's trying to investigate. She goes and talks to General Shaw and wants to know what's going on. Shaw just essentially blows her off and says, well, you shouldn't be around here doing all this stuff. And if there, because she was asking about Hank and he was saying, well, I mean, if there was further evidence, I mean, there we would be able to help him, but just not coming up. So that's all that we have. But before then, Halloran was outside, or he was cleaning up the barracks. He went outside to throw the trash, and he goes into a trance where he sees his aunt, where
No, it's his grandmother.
is his grandmother?
Yeah,
Was
that's
his
his
grandma?
grandmother, the one who basically taught him about the gift.
Okay. So he sees the grandmother out in the forest. Hanlon pulls up and asks him what the fuck's going on, what's really going on here. And Halloran tells him, well, I really don't know what's going on, and I really don't want to find out what's going on. And that effectively ends their conversation. But he tells Halloran what happened at the river where Will saw him burned up as a pilot and grabbed him. And he said, this is very strange because I wouldn't think to believe him, but he had bruises and cuts on him. So
Yeah,
it's very abnormal.
yeah, and then they saw the balloon. That like that was kind of interesting because like both of them saw the
Saw the
balloon
balloon
floating
up
across
in
the
the tree.
freaking. Yeah, that was crazy. Well, that was later on. This one, the first balloon they saw was going over the river.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
We did leave that out. So when Will and his father were at the river, they did see the red balloon.
yeah.
So, yeah,
His
and then they
father
see it
just
again
saved
later
him.
on.
Yeah, because the father went and grabbed him and saved him. It's like, what's going on? Are you okay? Like freaked out, and then all of a sudden, balloon. It's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is that? They just see a red balloon there.
Yeah. Okay, that's when it switches to the kids are at the Loverlook Point
Yeah,
hideout.
yeah. See that man, I gotta hand it to Will because he's pretty intelligent about all this and like trying to figure like being like essentially like his father because his father's the same way.
Hmm.
His father, Major Hanlon, like and that kind of Halloran kind of brings that out in episode three, saying how like when I dove into your mind, most people who I dive into their minds like they're afraid and they're thinking about like their thoughts are like of their family and of stuff going on where you're way different. Your thoughts are like analyzing. You're thinking of like what you're seeing, you're analyzing everything, and it's way different. Like fear's not in there.
Hmm.
Now, Will obviously has fear. I mean, that's a thing, but he also has that analyzing part of his brain, like his dad, in a way, and I like that. The whole entire part where he's like talking about like, shit, I hate being right and all this other stuff. Because Will talks to all the kids and says like,
Yeah.
talks to the essentially the losers club,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
he talks to this group of kids saying like, hey man, like this thing showed me my dad burnt up and came after me like that. I
Hmm.
never told anybody about that. How did it know that about? And that's when like Lily and Ronnie were saying the other kids said that too. Like Tim and all them said the same thing. They said they start seeing weird shit and like it was like scary things before it came after them. And then all of a sudden that's when Will says, "Oh shit, this thing's going after us. Maybe it's going after us. It's trying to scare us, not just kill us.
Yeah.
It's trying to bring fear out into us until it smells that we're just right and then eat us." It's he alludes to like certain predators doing the same thing to other animals, and it
Mhm.
releases like say cortisone and adrenaline,
Yeah.
and it causes the fear hormone to go in. And some predators enjoy that taste, and that's what Pennywise essentially enjoys, which is kind of cool. That was a great theory
Yeah.
to
Which is
have.
scary also at the same time.
Yeah, that was a cool theory, and I like the fact that they actually he brought that up, and he found that out as a kid. You know, just like, oh, this is what's going on. This is what happens, and this is what's like the monster's doing is it's scaring us in order to eat us later. It just
Yeah.
has to bring enough fear into us to actually kill us.
After
So,
that, Lily was saying that she got some pills. Like, what would they do to combat everything? She suggests that they use her mom's pills because every time she gets anxiety, that, and what was the exact, I have it written down, mommy's little helper. She
yeah,
uses
Mother's
those
Little
pills
Helper.
to calm her
That one
down.
made me
And
laugh.
yeah,
Did you catch the reference as far as like to the Rolling Stones song?
hmm
So the Mother's Little Helper, and
yeah.
it's basically like what is it like Adderall? I guess not Adderall. What would it be back then? I
I don't
guess
know back then
it starts with an
specifically.
N. It starts with an M, and I can't or an A, and I can't remember what it is. But it was a form of like I guess like what you would consider like now
I
would
think
be
it would
like
be more like a tranquilizer, like that would
yeah,
do something to you
Valium.
rather than anxiety
It's called
specific.
Valium.
Yeah.
Valium would be it. Yeah, 'cause that's
Mhm.
what like women would take Valium and stuff.
Yeah,
Or
which is a good idea because they're trying to combat fear. If they don't have no fear when they're facing Pennywise, then it's going to help
yeah,
combat Pennywise.
the only problem is like an, a Valium pill for an adult probably would be like half the dose
Yeah,
for a
maybe
kid.
quarter
You
probably.
know, shit.
Hmm.
Like I don't think it would work, but you never know. And shit, so even at that, if they do send Lily back to Juniper Hill and they give her those pills or something, maybe like that'll help her out
Or
to
maybe that's
combat it
what they
either.
give her and why she's kind of immune to it, or she was immune to it
Yeah,
at being at Juniper Hill. That's kind of a interesting fact, like because you mentioned last episode. I wonder what's going on with Juniper Hill because he's not really over there. So I wonder if it's more of a thing where they don't have so much fear or worry as like with Pennywise that he could get into them because they are like essentially catatonic. What we propose too is that that's what he keeps the bullies in the atmosphere because he wants
yeah,
fear in general surrounding everything
yeah. He uses it as a tool in his arsenal he could use against
to eat
other
kids.
people.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So if they're already scared and he scares them even more, he wants them as fearful as possible to eat them.
Hmm.
Okay, and then it goes to a school scene where he's trying to be convinced by Marge, let's be friends again. And that's what I immediately thought it was like a patty cake ploy, and that's exactly what it turns out to be.
Yeah.
They're in the lunchroom, and I can't remember the name of the kid that walks by. He's a
I think it's
letterman.
Tim or something like that. I can't remember, or Eddie, or I can't. I didn't.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't catch it.
they're eating
I
in
was
the
just annoyed.
lunchroom, and he walks by, and he kind of shows interest, and it's all part of the patty ploy. And she's like, "Well, I'm gonna go freshen up in the restroom," and she runs off, and the patty cakes come up to, God damn it, Marge. The patty cakes come up to Marge and they tell her, "What did you tell her what was going on?" And she's like, "Yeah, and our plan's working perfectly." And he's in on it. And she says, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna make sure everything goes fine." So she runs to the bathroom because she also feels guilty about it. And while they're in the bathroom, she's asking her if everything's okay, and she's like, "Yeah, I have a zit." So, and she's like, "Well, I could cover that up and help you cover it up." And she's doing that and says, "Well, I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick." While she's going to the restroom, before when she was trying to get her attention way back when we were previously talking about where they looked at each other, before this even happened and they met in the lunchroom, they discussed, "Well, let's talk. I miss you." And they're watching a video of a snail. And that's why I was left with the atomic blast, thinking that his father was like that, because it's always one to one with this, where
Yeah.
Pennywise immediately uses something, but that was untrue with that. But this was definitely true. So they're in the restroom, and Marge starts feeling weird in her eyes, and she looks in the mirror, and her eyes pop out like a snail. which is, have you ever watched the Junji Ito stuff that I asked you to watch?
Yeah, I did. That was
That's
just
what I
like that. It was
immediately
kind of
thought
wild.
is like it was like a homage to Junji Ito because that's exactly what happens to the people in some of the series of Junji Ito. So that was a pretty cool scene though. I mean, her eyes were popping out like a snail creature and she was trying to get him out and she was squeezing him and then I don't know what normal person or sane person would put like a pick or a knife in their eye to try to get rid of it, but I suppose a kid would do that. That's so panicked that they see snail
Oh
eyes
God,
coming out of
yeah,
their
that was
head. So she
brutal.
goes,
Well, it's
what's
the
that?
whole parasite. It was the whole parasite worm thing because that's what creates that to happen. Oh
Yeah.
God, that was rough.
Yeah. So she's in
But
the wood shop and she gets the pick and she tries to stab her eye to get rid of him. And then she goes to the bandsaw and she leans over to cut him off and is seemingly cut him off. And then Lily goes in and is like, what the fuck's going on? And she gets the pick and trying to fight her away from it because she's still trying to stab her own eyes. And that's when the whole class runs in and Lily's holding the pick and standing over her and it's making it seem like, oh, she's trying to kill this bitch. And that's when it cuts away because so you're left of like, are they gonna send this chick back to Juniper Hill? And it's like, yeah, that's probably gonna happen.
oh yeah, for sure. Because like the way it leaves it is like straight up. Oh, she's hacked Marge over what's going on. So
Mhm.
everybody's gonna think, oh, this crazy chick just attacked her best friend
Yep.
or attacked another classmate, and it's not really that. It's not really what happened. Then like I don't know what her plan was. Like I'm assuming like she was gonna give that Valium to Marge to like calm her down. You know, then she
Hmm.
drops it in the toilet. It's like, oh, that's
Yeah.
gross.
Get it out and say, oh, it's good. It's good. Just rinse it off.
It's like, oh, just kind of wipe it on your hand. Here, eat this. Just don't worry about where it's been. It'll save you.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, like I was pretty gross. I was like, oh man. But yeah, that was pretty wild. And when I'm digging about these later episodes too now. No, we want to mention that a whole entire eye scene. It wasn't as gory as like the previous like first two episodes. Like the first two
Yeah.
episodes were,
The
oh
very
my God,
first
like
episode
that
with the
very first
birth.
episode was, my God, that was brutal. And then
Yeah.
like the way the kids were murdered like in the first freaking episode, I was like, good Lord, that was gruesome. Like I was kind of hoping it's like, oh well, maybe we'll see stuff like that, but I'm kind of glad we're not like seeing overdone gore. Like we
Yeah.
do
Too
see
much.
some stuff, and like with this episode, it was the same way. It's like the whole Marge scene was pretty brutal,
Hmm.
and it looks like she did end up getting her eye with the chisel,
Yeah.
like one of her
Definitely.
eyes at least. But man, like I was afraid like she was gonna get pulled into the bandsaw and like her head was gonna get cut off or something.
Yeah. Or she would
I
just
was
have
like,
no
oh
eyes.
man,
Like they were
yeah,
really protruding and she cut him off anyway. Yeah.
yeah,
At least she has one eye. I mean, after all that.
yeah, that was freaking wild. And like just seeing that scene, that was pretty crazy. But once again, yeah, it's like you said, like when you thought about like Will's father being burned, wondering if that's what he saw was the atomic bomb thing, but it was actually just a fear Will had of losing his dad in the war,
Hmm.
crashing in a plane, and then his dad did end up probably I think that he did end up crashing in a plane,
Yeah. That's what
but he
caused him to
survived.
get that injury where he has no fear.
Yeah, and then so like as soon as we saw the whole entire video that they were watching about the parasites and the snails, like, oh, that's Marge's fear. Ah, Marge is screwed.
Hmm.
And like, it was one of those deals where, like I got ticked when I saw like the whole thing was just a ploy with the patty cakes and like the popular kids just be
Yeah.
bullies, like all these
That's what I
assholes.
kind of thought too, that she was
It's like
still
that
on
was dirty.
there. Yeah.
You're
She
just gonna
definitely
set
learned her
up.
lesson, which is kind of weird. Do you think that it would happen to someone else besides her? Because I don't know. Why would Pennywise be teaching her a lesson?
Oh, well, it's all part of like a ploy, I think. Well, like I don't know, I guess like a ploy or a grandmaster plan to like get Lily back in Juniper Hill.
Maybe.
Because I think he might be seeing that, hey, this girl's wising up and she's starting to learn that she can combat me. They're getting strong or they're getting fearless
More
at
keen.
this point,
Yeah.
and they're working together. No, this isn't going to happen. Screw that.
Yeah.
And we kind of get why he goes after groups like that later on in this show, like when it kind of shows what's going on with the Native Americans. I think that because like they essentially formed the first team to stop him with the party and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and it was kids who end up stopping it, instead of adults. Like, so you kind of like see, okay, essentially he's learning from his mistakes from the past and
Yeah, and
killing
he's
them
had so
off
long to
faster.
learn.
Yeah, so
There might be something that's a little bit new, like with the pills and everything. He's been able to see people, but no one's been able to see him like that.
yeah, nobody's been able to like pinpoint where he's at and figure out what's going on. So
Sure.
yeah, it's kind of wild. It's an interesting thing.
Hmm.
So after that, like we get into the whole entire, like we ended up, as far as the kids are concerned, it's about done, except for Will, like at the very end, like well towards the end, as far as like using his telescope and stuff. But
Well, before then, it was with Charlotte. She went to the police office.
yeah, that's when she. So that's when we find out more about Charlotte because she ends up talking to Ronnie. Like, in later or early on, we find out she goes and talks to Ronnie's grandmother and is it Hank?
Yeah, Hank,
Yeah, Hank's mom.
father.
And so we find out like she finds out. Yeah, we don't know what's going on. Like he wasn't where he said he was, but the only people who know that is him and God. You
Hmm.
know. So then she gets permission to go talk to him. So she goes back to the freaking sheriff's office, talks to
The
a
deputy.
deputy and says, "Hey, I need to talk to him. Here's a letter from his mother saying I can talk to him." And then the guy just kind of threatens her, he's like, "You better just like stop interfering, or I'm gonna throw you in jail, like with him. Like
Mhm.
you're impeding a case." And then she's like, "Well, you're arresting him without legal counsel." And I gotta hand it to Charlotte figuring all this shit out, considering like this is when you find out why she is the way she is, as far as like, oh my God, they're persecuting this poor black guy
Hmm.
and all this stuff without due process, and they got like all this information from him under duress without legal counsel. But like even like the sheriff was like, "Hey, no, this isn't what happened. We got testimony of somebody here. Like they'll figure it out.
Hmm.
And we caught him in a lie." But like she brings up this whole entire like spiel about how, hey, if you don't let me see him, then I can make phone calls and I'm part of the freedom fighters and I'll have MLK, JFK,
JFK,
and
RFK.
RFK. You just tell him I'm gonna make this fucking tough for you if you don't fuck off. Let me see him.
Hmm.
But they do let her see him, and then she's trying to like get the story straight, and even she talks about like, hey, like, well, what did you do? Because they're saying you're not there, or you were somewhere else, but you got to say something. And he flat out says, now, before we figured out what happened, my theory was that he was a homosexual.
Oh, homosexual.
Homer.
Yeah.
My
If you don't know what we're referring to, it's the episode of The Simpsons where Bart gets in trouble and he goes to talk to Principal Skinner and he has the vision of the Terminator, so he's seeing through the eyes and he could scan everything. He looks at Principal Skinner and he scans him with his robot eyes and he says, possible homosexual.
so
That's what I thought is that he was seeing a white woman. I knew right away.
like then all of a sudden it was a white woman. Then all of a sudden it goes to, oh shit, what if it's the sheriff's wife that he's
Yeah.
seeing? Hence the
That's
reason why
he couldn't say
the
nothing.
yeah, he couldn't say nothing, and that's why Barrows in it hates black kids so much.
Yeah.
Hates Will, or not Will, Mike, because he's like the epitome of like racist asshole in that movie.
Hmm.
Like all the white racists hate. But if this turns out that um
In the newer one, he is. In the
yeah,
original
in the
one, he's
newer
not.
one he is.
It's just a general hate bully
Yeah,
to
but like
everybody.
in the newer one, like you get that, and like you start making if you put two and two together, it's like, oh shit, I wonder if that's why.
Good
Like
point.
why he
I
has a
would
deep
have never
seated
thought
hatred.
about that too, but it does make
Like
sense.
why he hates black kids and stuff, or why he hates blacks in general, or why he's such a racist asshole. Which he's just an asshole in general, just a bad bully prick.
Hmm.
But if this kind of alludes to it, like maybe Hank was seeing the sheriff's wife, which would have been his grandmother, and that's why they got split up and everything, and just that's why he has a deep seated hatred, which it would make sense if you think about it.
Hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see who Hank's actually seeing. It's either that or Hank seeing the mother of the first kid who went missing.
Yeah.
And that's why he didn't care if the kid was at his movie theater.
Hmm.
and stuff. Like he was like just kind of, hey man, just let this kid be
Because
okay. You
even
know,
when they were
he's safe.
talking, even when they were talking about how to combat it, Pennywise, they were saying that what's his name you just talked about might still be alive.
Oh, was it? Oh, shit, Mark Matthew? I can't remember. It's an M name. I could look real
Maddie.
quick and
They
Maddie. Yeah,
yeah, Lily speculated that Maddie still be alive, so maybe he might come
yeah.
back. We don't know. But it goes to where they're back at the base and the what's his name? It's I can't think of his name, but
So
general's the one below the general.
the one below the general, his name is, I have it right here, Fuller.
Okay. So it switches to where Fuller's talking to Shaw and they're asking what's going on. Is there any new developments? And he showed him footage of the native kids looking at a distance from the fence, like right behind the fence. And he was like, well, maybe we should let him in and see what happens. And it just cuts from there. Then it goes to what really was the Marge and the Lily scene. So we talked down all that, which was a great scene. And what we did leave out of that is after she's trying to cut her open her eyes, the next scene right after, which is brilliant, it cuts to Charlotte cutting tomatoes with a knife.
Oh
And I
yeah, good
thought that I
lord,
was like, yes, that is so good. I just couldn't help but laugh after I seen that. So
that was
and
pretty
that
gruesome.
yeah, it was pretty cool. It's
That
a
was a
pretty
good
cool
cut.
scene to cut to. Okay, after that you see the tomatoes cutting. And then Hanlon goes into his house or where she's cutting up tomatoes or cooking for dinner. And he was like, what the fuck are you doing? You're like going into everything and meddling and stuff because he gets
You're
word
doing it
saw
again.
what she's doing and what's going on because he was that's the first person he went to go visit. And he was like, you need to calm down. You don't want to go to jail again. You swore this wouldn't happen again. And she's busier than the whole squad, the Scooby Squad, about trying to find out who's the racist. Like she's there looking under rocks with the flashlight and shit, and says, "Oh shit, that crab's a racist." So she's doing all kinds of nonsense. She's just doing too much. And the problem with that is Hanlon doesn't know at the time because
Oh,
it's the 60s, right? It's the 60s.
okay. So no, the reason why Helen knows what's going on, that she's going to the police station and seeing Hank and all that, his partner turned her in.
Yeah, that's right. He saw her at a distance. You're correct.
Yeah, the partner happened to look and see her walk into the police station, and he ratted out to,
Yeah,
was
you're
it
correct.
Russo? Was his name?
Yeah,
Yeah, he ratted out to
Hanlon.
Hanlon's like, hey man, your wife's doing shit again.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
she's going to the police station and shit. She's talking to the prisoner and everything.
And the problem with this is that it's too early to know because, people get educated 40 years from now. Hanlon doesn't know that bitches never learn. So that's what we're left with. Like Hanlon, it's gonna happen, Hanlon. It's just gonna happen. So that's what we're left.
Never learns.
Yes.
Good Lord.
And then it goes to Will's upstairs sleeping, and he's dreaming about the same scene with his father burning up in the plane. He wakes up in a panic and he starts looking outside. He's looking through his telescope and he sees a guy walking the dog down the street. And then he looks over a little bit down to the left and he sees Pennywise by the tree and he freaks out and he's balled up in the corner and his father hears him and his father busts in the door and asks him what's going on, what's wrong. And he says, I seen someone downstairs because he doesn't want to tell him because
Yeah,
no one will
watching the
believe him.
house.
They still think that seeing a clown is just insane. So he goes downstairs, Hanlon goes downstairs and looks around and he yells out, well, whoever's out there doing anything. And then he sees a balloon up in the tree. And
Yeah.
that's the second time he's seen it, which alludes to Pennywise.
Yeah, don't forget though, he yells at his wife first though. Like before he goes in, it's like, God damn it, see what you did. Now people are watching the house. You know,
That's what I
it's
wrote down too.
he
Blame
got
Charlotte.
mad.
LOL.
He
I would
blamed
too.
Charlotte all pissed off.
Yeah. That's what I
It's
wrote
your
down. Blame
fault.
Charlotte. LOL. I would too. That dumb hooker.
That dumb hoe. Yeah, but then he like after that he ends up busting into like Shaw's office, like
Yeah.
without even being announced. He just like kicks in the door, which like that's not how like military protocol goes. You're supposed to like make an appointment, and all this shit. But yeah, he just busts through the secretary. Like, hey, what the fuck is going on in this town?
Hmm.
What's going on? What's Something attacked my son? Now this is going on, and then that's when Shaw takes him into interrogation. Said, "I'm gonna let you see this. We caught one of the natives, one of the kids who were basically into the area, into the military base, and they ended up pulling him and." Halloran's interrogating this kid, and it was actually pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
the way he just kind of mind fucked this dude.
Yeah. He was holding his head
Yeah, the
above him.
fraud.
Yeah.
You know
And he goes
that was cool.
directly into his mind, which is a pretty cool scene. And it shows him, a kid playing with toys, and then his aunt, which is younger Rose, younger
Halloran walks into
specifically.
the into this native's mom. I wish I knew the kid's name. I don't know his name.
I do know his
The
name. His name is one
song started with a
second.
D, wouldn't it?
No, it's
I thought it was Daniel. Was the Indian
Haniel.
Haniel? I was
It's
close.
with a T instead of a D.
Oh, how weird. What
Yeah.
the? Why? Okay. Anyway, so I guess he goes into his mind, like it's like a whole room of doors that he actually ends up like walking into, and then that's when he walks into that memory that you were discussing. So
Hmm.
please continue.
Okay. So he's playing with toys, and his Aunt Rose walks in and talks to him about how that you hear legends of things that are happening, and that there's things in the forest, and sometimes they're just signs of warning, and other times that they're real. And she asked, basically, would you explain to me the story? And is the was it the galleon? Is that what it was called? The galloon? The galloon.
Balloon
The galloon.
or Galoo.
Yeah. And it asks if the woods, the monster in the woods is true, if the galloon exists, and he begins to tell the story of how the galloon was got into Earth. So it came from the sky. It dropped down in an asteroid. The natives knew it was there and was evil, but they kept their distance because it didn't have any power as long as they didn't go near it.
They're essentially like living kind of like in harmony in a way. Like they don't fuck with him, he doesn't fuck with them. They stay away from his hunting grounds, and
Yeah.
it shows
One of the
how
warriors got a shard of the asteroid,
of
and that's what
yeah,
was able
essentially
to essentially end the galloon. How do you say it?
Galoo,
Galloon.
Galoo, Galoo,
Galoo.
no N. Yeah,
Okay, Galoo.
yeah, Galu. If you want to if you want to kind of spell it out for yourself, but
Okay.
Galoo is what they're calling it.
I just added it in. For some reason, I heard an N at the end.
Galoon,
Galloon.
Galoon, because it rhymes with balloon.
Yeah, balloon, galloon. Hey, that would be something in relation to Pennywise.
Yeah, that's why you're making like connections in your head, like
Yeah,
psychologically, and
yeah.
without thinking about it. It's like, oh, balloon, Galoon,
Galloon, balloon.
balloon. So yeah, it was kind of interesting, like the whole entire story. I like the deal, and this kind of alludes to like further on in the story when we hear about it, like why or how they pretty much confine Pennywise into the woods, like the number of artifacts that they had to collect and everything. It was really interesting.
Hmm.
That's kind of significant, like in a way, to like the Dark Tower and the Guardians and stuff of the Beam.
Uh-huh.
And then there's another deal in the Dark Tower series. It's called so in the Dark Tower, there's this thing called the Wizard's Rainbow, and the best way I could describe them is you've watched Lord of the Rings, right?
Hmm.
And you know how Sauron's holding over that ball, and that ball's showing him like the future. It's the I think they call it the Pantheons or something like that, or the but it's an orb that Sauron uses to see. But
Hmm.
Sir Saruman's looking over it, and he has his hand over it, and it's like swirling, but it
Yeah.
has the eye. That's kind of like what the Wizard's Rainbow is. So there's these 13 orbs, and like they're like crystal balls that people use to like see the future and to see different things and to travel and traverse different, essentially the thinnies in a way. And the thinnies refers to what Derry essentially is it's a place where their world is thin. Like a thinny is something that's described in the Dark Tower as a place where you can cross dimensions. So you
Hmm.
can go into another world. It's a place where there's other worlds. So in the Dark Tower, you have certain places that are thinnies. Jerusalem's Lot is one. There's a bar somewhere that's one. There's a house that Jake goes through, and it kind of alludes to the house of like in Derry, that place where Pennywise is at. It kind of has like a fallback to that as well.
Yeah.
But it's a place where you could cross over into another world. That's what the Finnies are called, according to like the Dark Tower. But there's something to do with Wizard Rainbow in that as well. And there's 13 of them, and the one they find, and it's one of the last orbs or one of the last crystal balls they find. It's called Black 13. And that's the whole reason why I have a big old crystal ball. It's not really big, but it's a good size. Like on my desk. Here, I have one, and I call it my Black 13, but it alludes to the Dark Tower, and it's like one of the most powerful ones that they use. It has powers and stuff, so that was kind of interesting. And what's interesting is the fact that it has power. It's black, just like obsidian. It's
Yeah.
just like the shards and stuff from the
Yeah. It's
meteorite they grab, like the
same.
prison.
Hmm.
So
Well,
that's pretty cool.
it is. That's good to know. And after that, they're like I said, they're talking about how they're using the shards to keep the it at bay, or what is it called
Galoo,
again? Glue.
Galoo,
I'm gonna say galoon again, so I had you say
Galoon.
it. Say the glue at bay until the settlers came. The settlers
Yeah,
came and they moved in the area exactly where the glue was, and he ate them all. And that gave him more power over the area, and it expanded his power where he could move beyond where he
beyond the
was.
forest. Yeah,
Yes. So which made them move away from him. And then what would you call it? The chief? It's not the chief.
it's the warrior chief.
I guess
Eh,
would she still have there's no female name for the chief, but she was the chief.
She was like their greatest warrior, their warrior chieftain apparently
Yeah.
was what I got out of
I
it.
guess that's what it was, but her daughter and a boy and another girl went out to kill the Galoo,
Yeah,
and
because they didn't want to move.
yeah, they got the obsidian or the asteroid piece, and they went after to kill him, which made the chief send her whole group and party, and that's where you learn where they know that it's like one to one. Which you fear something, it's going to become. So as soon as they
Yeah,
counter him, they see everything that they automatically fear.
the fact that Pennywise appeared or the Galoo appeared to these Indians and certain things, that was kind of cool. The moose one was pretty wild
Yeah.
because I guess like so I don't know if you've ever seen animals shed before,
Hmm.
like they're when they're shedding their
They get
antlers.
mint. Yeah,
It looks pretty freaking grotesque. Like as
it
far as like
does. It's all bloody and everything.
the way that looked with the moose and like the freaking blood dripping off, like that's what it would look like. And
And I
you
was
think
also
about
thinking
like,
about what you said, the Wendigo.
yeah, so like you would think like as a Native American stuff, or like, even like as a child, not knowing what the hell that is and seeing that, like what kind of fear that would bring into you, like this giant grotesque looking beast with blood coming off its horns.
That's what they're going through or seeing when the warriors being attacked, that everything that they're afraid of was coming after him all at once. So he was able to split up forms and frighten everybody to the core.
And after when it went after the war chief
Hmm.
or the chieftain, like the main one, it turned into that preacher, the
Yeah.
missionary essentially,
And it
because
grew
that was
long
what she,
arms and legs.
yeah, that's essentially what she feared. I like the fact that she even shot it with arrows and just like meh, break. He was so powerful at the time, it didn't even matter. It was kind of cool because it even showed. So like when she'd shoot with an arrow or hit it and stuff, the blood still did the same thing. Even when Rose hit it with the slingshot, like hit it in the head, like the blood just kind of floats up in the air.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with this one, the Galoo. But
Hmm.
man, that was kind of crazy, the whole entire preacher thing when it turned into the missionary, the priest, and he
Yeah. Hmm.
lifts her up and says, "Behold your true God," or something like that, or "My true God," and it's that little baby that just jumps out of his
Yeah, it
chest,
jumps out of the chest and bites
stabs her,
her.
and
After that, they I'm pretty sure she vows to get revenge on the creature and try to end it. So they go back into the forest again one last time, the same group, the three kids, where they find the meteorite or the obsidian, and they take the pieces and they figure out that's the way that they could defeat it, and they put it all surrounding the land where Pennywise was to encaps or enclose it so it would never escape again. So that's where you get where it's stuck in Derry and it can't go anywhere because
Yeah,
the
it's
Native
trapped.
Americans trapped it there.
Now that was kind of interesting too, and I gotta watch it again and see. But I did realize like one of the things that they put in was like either in the shape of a turtle, or it was in a turtle shell.
Hmm.
But that was one of the guardian things, the sacred items that bind him to the forest or bind him to Derry.
Hmm.
Now, what is interesting to me is when Halloran comes up after like the whole entire roast part, where like her eye closes after she's talking to the kid. That's very good, you know, Annual or Lanuel, whatever the hell his name is. Taniel, is it?
What was it again? Yeah,
Because I thought
Daniel.
I always thought it was Daniel.
Yeah,
Nathaniel?
it's
Yeah.
Daniel with the
So
T.
yeah, so she like says that and like her eye closes and then Halloran stands up and claps and like says, "Now show me where the pieces are."
Hmm.
And what's interesting to me is the fact that the kid shows him, well, he turns into an adult again or a teen and shows him the house from It One, chapter one.
Yeah, where
But
Pennywise resides.
now my theory is that he did it on purpose. He showed like he knew what was going on too as well. Like he kind of figured it out, which is why he went back to his like adult form instead of a kid
Hmm.
after Halloran like showed himself. I think he's showing them that on purpose to have them go down there and try to kill it, but get wiped out by it to begin with. Like,
Because like I'm pretty sure that they believe that they're going to try to remove those stones and then try to use Pennywise as a weapon. That's what
yeah,
I think that they're planning. And essentially, if they lead him to their death, they'll just stop. And instead
yeah,
of
they
him
can't do it.
being trapped there, he's going to be everywhere.
Yeah, but like it's almost like a setup. It's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna tell these idiots where this thing is, and this is gonna kill all of them, and
Hmm.
it's still gonna be bound to the area because it's still gonna be stuck
Yep.
because they didn't find the sacred stones that they need to find.
Yeah. So
They didn't
essentially,
find
they're
what they
just
needed
doing
to.
their job, like
Yeah,
the
they're
by
doing
any
their
means.
job in a way. It's just, yeah, like they're just letting Pennywise do their job for them. It's like, okay, yeah, we'll let these idiots go in there and try to take Pennywise and just get wiped off the face of the earth, and then we don't have to worry about it. He's still bound to the area,
Hmm.
which it kind of seems like that's the case, considering even like it chapter two, he's still there,
Yeah.
and they find him and everything. But that's almost like it's almost like he knew what was going on at the very end of that and said, "Oh yeah, he's in that house right there. Go get him. Why don't you go get the sacred stones in that house?" Shoo shoo. What I think was really fascinating too, and we didn't mention it, but when Fuller and Shaw are talking about it, they're actually talking about how it's gonna go dormant.
Hmm.
I don't know if you caught that or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a part where they were talking about that, saying like we're gonna miss our opportunity. It, this entity is gonna go dormant, and we're gonna have to wait another 27 years. So they know like that this happens every 27 years, and it's active right now. So it's actively doing stuff, which is kind of screwed up if you think about it. So they know that the entity or Pennywise or the glue, whatever the hell you want to call it, is active and it's actively killing kids and fucking people up in this town. And they're just letting it play out because they want to get this as a weapon. That's
Hmm.
kind of jacked up if you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
Like, oh, what assholes, you know? They know what's going on. Like
Yeah.
Operation Precept is the whole entire freaking thing. So it tells you like this group is
And two, like, what are the
they're
odds?
assholes.
Like, the only way that this could have been possible is if they used psychics and they knew something was in the area. Because if they go away, everything's going to reset and everyone's going to forget. So just
Yeah.
by chance, they were looking for something, and this is what became of it. So that's what goes to the next process of years. How many years is it?
27. Every 27 years
The
something
next
happens, I guess.
27 years where they come back and it's still active and nobody knows about it because it just resets everybody.
Yeah. At least everybody in Derry who's living under the boot of this thing, except for the natives. I guess the natives are the only ones who really know because
Yeah,
they're there actively trying to stop it.
and they're more spiritually aware too, so I think that
Yeah.
it doesn't affect them as it does everybody else.
hmm They know what the hell's going on. They
Mhm.
understand. And I think they understand basically like they're there to keep it at bay and make sure nobody sets it free.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. Like even Rose knows what's going on, like as far as like what they're looking for. But she's even trying to let it play out. Like she's like, well, we're not going to intervene. I want to see what happens first.
So I think that's a good place to leave it. It's a
Yeah.
pretty good episode. We'll see what happens on the next, and I'm interested to see if they go to the house and they all effectively die in the house, which I believe
Yeah,
is
same
going to
here.
happen.
It's either that or Halloran's gonna warn them or figure out, hey, yeah, this isn't right. This thing's is leading us in here.
Thank you everybody for watching Villains and Creeps. Appreciate it.
See ya.